in this meeting here. So essentially, just before we begin, I'd just like to confirm everybody's okay with me recording this meeting?
Yeah, I am.
Yes. Yep? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to begin recording now, okay?
Okay.
Thanks. I've just switched to my headset as well, just to make sure it's clear.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. So everybody can hear me here? Everybody is good to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Wonderful, guys. Okay. So just to give you a bit of a breakdown here, what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with the front end of the system, the way that the staff is going to be using the system on a day-to-day basis. And then I'm going to jump into the back-end configurations, which is where the management team is going to spend a lot of the time doing different configurations for the floor plan, the menu, employees, etc. Okay? Right. So before we begin, I'd just like to get confirmation of what's everybody's comfort level here. Has anybody used silverware in the past?
I have used silverware. It's been a while, but I have used silverware. But
So I've used the new version of silverware for at least 2 years.
Wonderful. So Scott, would you say you're feeling fairly comfortable with the use of silverware then?
Yeah. So all the management stuff I can whip through really fast, but I've never served or used any customer-facing silverware software. So that's why I wanted to dial in on this meeting today, just so I'm familiar with the day-to-day server stuff if I'm like retraining staff or something.
Absolutely. No, that's wonderful. I'm glad you're here with us. Okay, has anybody else here used any current version of silverware or a past version? I believe Jeremy, you just said that you used a past version.
No, I've never used any POS from a user perspective. I've done setups and that kind of stuff, but not user perspective.
Okay. Okay, wonderful, guys.
I used silverware like 4 years ago.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So that would still be the same version. We've updated things, obviously, since then, but the concept would still be the same.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to kind of start off on like a baseline as if we don't know anything. If you feel like I'm going too slow, jump in, we'll speed up. If you feel like I'm going too fast, jump in and we'll slow it down, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so William and I have never worked with any POS, so let's start from, like you're saying. It's good.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to start right from the beginning here, okay?
Okay.
So everybody can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So what we're looking at here is the main floor plan for your site. So this is going to be essentially our home screen. This is all the way backed out. The system is currently just showing us the floor plan, and when people are seated, we will see their seat or the table is lit up in green, meaning somebody is seated there. And from here, we would need access codes to access anything. So if you leave the system like this, nobody can touch it, nobody can access it unless they have a code, such as your servers or management team. So to give you a layout or an idea of what the layout is showing you here, if we look in the top left, we'll see a station number. So we're currently using station number 1. Now we have 2 stations and a mobile license, so we're going to see different station names for the different stations that we have. Just underneath of that, we'll see it says system closed. Because currently the system is not open. I can't place orders right now because our end of day ran, and we have not yet reopened the system from that end of day. What we will see in just a moment, I'm going to open the system, and this is going to say the current date that we are on. This will be our business date that it's going to be showing. This may differ from time to time if we cross midnight for our hours of operation, but for the most part, we're going to be looking to make sure that this date that shows up here is the same as our current date of the week, which is over in the right here, showing our current day. Now, right in the middle, we have our Back to Brooklyn title, as well as if our database is healthy or at risk, a backup, and the role of the station. Now, all of this is going to show unknown error right now because I'm using this from our test bench. This is not actually in production at the moment. Once it's in production, we'll see that our database will stay healthy, the backup will be okay, and we will get a role whether this is a principal or a mirror station. Because we use a principal and a mirror failover system to ensure that our data is always safe and our system is always operational, even if one of the stations fails. Okay? Now, going down to the bottom right-hand corner, this is how we would switch between floor plans. Now, different floor plans could mean, for us, just because we only have our one floor plan, we have the main floor plan, which is the one that we're looking at here, but we also do have another one so we also have our bar floor plan. So our bar tab floor plan allows us to create little tabs on the screen that will show little bits of information of the order. So the last two items ordered would show on this bar tab, typically used for bars. Is that something that we think we might be using?
Yes.
Yeah, so this would be their fast bar screen then?
Essentially, yeah. So if somebody comes up to sit at the bar, bartender doesn't want to place them on one of the seats that we had back on our main floor plan. The bartender doesn't want to place them on a seat. Just want to create a quick tab for them with a name or a phone number or a description. They absolutely can in the bar tab screen here, and then they can start placing their order right away. They don't need to seat them at a specific seat. Okay? And I'm going to go into that a little bit more. But first I'm going to start on our table service view here. So, on the left-hand side, we have a few buttons that we need to keep in mind. We have order, print order, and pay order in the top section here. Order is where we can go to act as our quick service or our cash and carry orders, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on order in a moment as well. Underneath of order is print order, which allows us to type in our number and then quickly select on a table to quickly print out the guest check for that table. This is very useful if we're serving multiple tables at once and we need to print out multiple checks all at once, and we don't want to go into each table, open up the order, then print the check. We just want to kind of tap and print, tap and print. That's what this button could be used for. It allows us to quickly print a check. Likewise, our pay order does the same thing. If we click pay order, type in our code, and then click on a table, it'll instantly bring us to the payment screen. That way we don't need to, again, open the order, navigate to the payment screen, and then pay. It just gets one step, okay? Same with print order, it skips a step. It just allows for a bit of a quicker service. You're going to see these buttons popping up every time we close an order. What that means is that we have a quick access screen, which allows us to quickly jump to one of these options, as opposed to having to type in our number multiple times. Again, for speed of service, it allows us to skip that extra step of now typing in our number while we're currently using the system. Okay? Underneath of here is our staff options. This is where our staff can sign in and sign out of the system. Now, keep in mind our staff does need to sign out of the system every night for our end of day for run.
Just
a side note, are we going to be using the system for timekeeping?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, perfect. Now, are we going to also be using the system for payroll?
If we can, that would be, wouldn't it be ideal? If the system can do the whole thing, I think it would be good. What do you think, Will?
It works the best when you use this payroll, because servers automatically come in, walk in, and sign in. It's just an easier way to do it.
Okay.
I absolutely agree.
Okay, yeah, so let's put that as yes for now then.
Wonderful, and I'm going to go into details on that during this training, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, so payroll and timekeeping.
Excuse me, Joel, is Will on the call?
He will?
Okay,
perfect. Okay, so again, staff options is where our staff is going to go in to sign in and sign out of the system. I'm also going to show you that we don't need to use staff options to sign in if we're in a rush. But again, we'll jump into that in just a moment. Other options, inside of other options, it has a few options for us to do menu item countdowns, as well as print out some checks. Now I'm going to go into other options after we go through the ordering screen. And then manager options is where we will access our configuration. Now we are going to jump into all of these buttons, but the first thing I'm going to do is jump into a table and start ordering here. So let's say the server that I want to use, we're going to call it our test server, and I'm going to place an order on table 107 down here. If I tap on the table, or click on the table in this case, it's going to prompt me to say the system is currently closed and it must be open before I continue because our system is closed. So all I have to do is hit yes, and now our system is open. You can see we have today's date now showing in the top left with an open status. And now it's asking me for my password. The password I'm going to use is just our test user password. And when I enter that password, this user is not yet signed in. So it's going to ask me if I want to sign in now. This is how we would use the system if we were in a rush. The server just runs in, drops off their stuff, and it's right to work. No time to stop and sign into the system through the staff options. We just want to jump in, place an order, and go. This is what we could do. We could just jump in, tap on a table, and go. It'll prompt us to sign in from here before we can do anything, so we never are working without signing in. So I'm going to hit yes to sign in now, and that's it. And now I'm just going to enter my password one more time. Oh, I just took too long, my apologies. So now that I've signed in, it's now asking me for a guest count for this table. How many people am I seating at this table? So for demonstration purposes, we'll say we're seating 3 people at this table. Okay, so I just hit on the number 3, and then I can hit OK. I'm going to get into more details on this screen in just a bit. So I typed in 3, that's my guest count. Now I'm going to hit OK. It brings us to our order screen. Now this does look a little bit shrunken down just because my screen's a little bit wider than what we would normally be using. But typically this just fills the screen, just this portion here, okay? So on the right-hand side, we'll notice we are looking at our main menu. Our main menu here has just the main groups that we would need to access all of our items. And on the left-hand side is where all of the items that we order is going to show up. You can see in the top we have a bit of information here. We're on table 6, table 6, and the server is test. So that would be myself. Now, underneath here, we do also have our coursing options as well as our guest options. When we're placing our orders, we want to be sure that we're following the correct, or we're placing the orders on the correct guest. Is coursing something that we're going to be using?
Yes.
What's coursing?
Yes.
It's separated. Some people will have first course, second course, third course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and it would be separated for the kitchen. So on the kitchen chips, they would see whether this is part of the first course or the entrees or the desserts. If we want to use the coursing. Now these titles can be changed to whatever you desire. If you don't want it to be first, entree, dessert, you want it to be first, second, third, we can absolutely do that. If you want to call it appetizers, entrees, dessert, whatever you want to call it, we can make those changes.
It's actually done for timing. So some meals take longer, some meals are really fast. So sometimes if it's like a really fast option, you want to wait before you fire it. So
Okay.
you fire your appetizers first, but then you'll wait on the mains. Like let's say, if only half the group has arrived. So if there's 6 people on this table, but there's only 2 couples that have arrived, and you're waiting on the last couple, and the 4 couples just want to get apps. Maybe you'll take all the apps, fire the apps, get the mains, but you just store them in the computer, so that you don't have to go back to the table and retake them. And then when the people show up and they're like, okay, we're ready to eat, then boom, you fire the mains, it goes right to the kitchen, and away you go.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Okay. So, perfect. So what I'm going to start with here, I'm just going to jump right into placing an order. So let's say we do have 3 people right here. And I'm going to order something for guest 1. You can see I am highlighted on guest 1 down in the bottom here. Now you'll also notice just to the left there's a seat 0. The seat 0 is typically used for shared meals. So let's say this group was going to order an appetizer for the entire table. We can put that on seat 0. It just allows it to make splitting the bill afterwards a little bit easier so that we're not missing things.
What about if there's like 2 couples, and you buy a bottle of wine for everybody, and then you split it with everyone, and then there's 2 shares, 2 couples that have their own bill.
Okay, so we're just going to make 2 bills off of that?
Yeah, it would be 2 bills. It would be one that has the bottle of wine that's shared between everybody, and then 2 couples would have 1 bill each.
So you'll see it, Jamie, but see where it says split, the third bottom from the right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just press that button, and then it's a drag and drop option.
Oh,
so you
okay.
press on the wine, and then you touch the next guest, and it'll split that item number, gas.
Oh, okay. I'll let you drive. I was just okay. I don't have experience here. So go ahead.
No worries.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I will get
these Scott will help you. We'll help you.
Yeah, I'll get into it. Don't you worry. I'll be showing you all about splitting in a moment. So first things first, let's order an appetizer for guest one here. So I'm going to go into my app, and you can see that we have a few appetizers here. So they're going to get the Caesar salad. Wonderful. Now I want to go back to my main screen. I can just hit groups in the bottom left down here. This little home button will take us back home. Okay. Alternatively, because I wanted to get to my mains and I was in my apps already, we do have shortcuts on the left-hand side here, which allow us to jump to all the groups without going home. So if I just wanted to jump to my mains, I could click mains, and it'll take me directly to my mains. This just allows for a little bit of quicker navigation without, again, we're just trying to remove some steps, so we remove the need to hit the home button, and we can just hit mains and jump right into our mains. Let's just say, for demonstration purposes, we'll order entree first for everybody. So I'll go over to guest 2 now, just by selecting guest 2 in the bottom, and I'm going to order an appetizer for them. They'll also get a salad, and now I'll go to guest 3, and by selecting guest 3, I can now select an additional entree, or appetizer, my apologies. So now we can see each guest is guest 1, guest 2, guest 3, so it's separated by guest. It's also separating each guest's order by course. So we have our first course here with an item, our first course with an item. And we also have a little plus symbol on the left of every item. What this is signifying to us is it's letting us know that this item has not yet been sent to the kitchen. Since it has not been sent to the kitchen, this has not been saved in the system at all. This is just waiting to be sent, which would also save it. So if I look on the right-hand side here, we have a few options for canceling, voiding, discounting in the purple color here. Now, if I hit void on the duck wraps here and I hit void, that item's going to disappear. Well, that's wonderful. That's great. But if this item has been sent through to the kitchen already and then saved in the system, I won't be able to void that as easily. I will need a manager approval for that. Is that something we would like to keep on there? Manager approval on voiding items that have been sent to the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's say we're just going to start with these appetizers. We'll start with those and we'll come for the mains later. So if I send this through with our little send button in the top right-hand corner, I hit send, you'll notice that, remember those quick options I was talking about? Order, print order, pay order. They show up right here. I also have recall last orders. What this does is it allows me to bring up the last order that I was working on without typing my number in every time. It just allows for a quicker service. So now that this order has been sent through to the kitchen, if I take a look at the left of the screen here, you'll notice that there's no more plus symbols beside each of these items. That's because this has now been sent through to the kitchen. So as a server, if I go to void this duck wraps again, and I hit void, it's now going to ask me for a reason. Why am I voiding this? We'll say I made a mistake. I just want the selected item, not the entire order. So if I hit selected item, it's going to scratch it out and it's going to show me that it's been voided for a mistake. Wonderful, that's great. Now I'm just going to try and save this and send this through. If I hit send, it's going to prompt me right here for manager approval because I need manager approval before I can actually go through with voiding this item, which means a manager would need to come over and type in their number. So if I'm going to approve this as a manager, I can come in and just hit approve remaining. Makes it a lot quicker so we don't have to select different things if there's multiple items. We can just hit approve remaining, and it's going to prompt us for a manager password. I will type in my manager password and hit OK, and now that item has been voided. Okay, so I'm just going to exit here. I'm just going to show you what this looks like on the receipt. So I have the receipts right here. They're in digital form, but they are right here. Okay. So this over here on the left-hand side, is everybody able to see this, or is it a little bit small on the display there? I think it's here. Perfect. So we're looking right here. We're able to see that we get a void printout every time we make a void. So we can see the server that voided it, the table that we were on, how many guests, the check number, and the item that was removed right here, which was our duck wrap, and who approved it. So Silverware, which is my manager number in Silverware, approved this void. So this is just for our records. Now also to take a look over on the right here what the kitchen is going to see. So when we first placed our order, we can see that we have table 6 is the table that it was ordered on. And we can see that we're looking for our first course right here. Now again, this can be changed to whatever you want it to be. And we get to see our items, as well as which guests ordered these items. So guest 1 ordered the Caesar salad, guest 2 ordered the salad, and guest 3 ordered the duck wraps. Okay? How do we like this layout? Would we prefer to have our guest seating at the top and then separate each guest pretty much the same way it looks on the order screen, where it's guest 1, first course, guest 2, first course, guest 3, first course? Or would you like to kind of condense it a little bit more, just like this, and organize it by course?
I'd rather have it split up the second way, so that if another server is coming down, she has an easier time figuring out what plate each person's going to. Does that make sense?
Like another server coming down to drop the food off?
To round the food, yeah. Well,
Okay.
I guess you'd still see guest 1, 2, and 3 alongside, right?
You would, yes. I just want to know if it would be easier for you guys. I can absolutely make that change.
Well, what do you guys think? I have no.
Omar?
No, I think that's fine.
I think Omar's on the presentation, right?
What's that?
Omar, you there?
Yeah.
Sorry. I wanted to ask Omar's opinion. This is the kitchen printer, so I wanted to ask his opinion on this.
Omar's not in. He's at the location right now.
Oh, I could have sworn he was on right now.
Omar, are you there?
He's there. He's there.
I can bring him in, but he can't see it. He won't be able to see it. We can just show him the recording. Let me just mock down the time. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello?
I have a question.
Omar, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. Sorry, I put the mute off so I don't
No problem.
interfere with anything.
Okay, Omar, you're unable to see the screen though, right?
Well, I can see what's happening with the whole restaurant and everything.
Okay, so like you see the webinar? Do you see that? Are you in the webinar or are you just in the call?
No, I can see what's happening.
Okay, so they have a question for you, I guess.
Yes?
So, Omar, would you like to see our kitchen chips printout organized by coursing? So, first course, second course, third course, with the guest number showing on the right side. So, the Caesar salad here was ordered by guest 1. Everything, like, we have our guests on the right as opposed to it being on the top. So, guest 1, first course, item. Guest 2, first course, item. What would you prefer?
Yeah, I prefer that. And then later on the ticket there will be second, which is the second course, and then it goes all the way down to the orders again, right?
Yeah, so you like the list here, or you want it organized by guest?
No, I like them just like that.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Gina, you had a question?
Yeah, I just have a question. So this void printer check here, does that print out automatically when you void something?
Yeah, so both in the kitchen as well as at the station, we'll get a void report. I can turn that off if you don't like it. That's not a problem.
No, I would love that, because I want servers to get that signed. Like, not only does the manager have to come over and do the code, they have to sign that.
Perfect. Yeah, no, not a problem. Yeah, so this currently, just by default, because as you are requesting, most people would prefer to have a void printout as well. It's good to keep record of it, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, exactly. So we'll be able to have that print out. That's not a problem. We also have discount summaries print out. Okay?
Okay.
Not on every order, but a discount summary will print out if you want.
I would love
We'll get
it.
into
If
that.
discount is done, if the discount is done, I want to receive the printout right away.
Perfect, and we'll get into that. Cool. Okay, so we're feeling okay with the way these receipts and chips are looking?
I have one more question about the void. So when you're let's say I'm a server and I need to get something off of a check, but I can't get a manager. Is there a way I can move it to another seat number?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't recommend this just because, I mean, it's not really a way around it, but you can transfer to another table. That's totally fine. You can transfer a single item to another table under your own name. So servers have that ability with our current permissions setup, which are completely customizable. We can have our servers transfer the item to another table and come back to it at a later time to void it off, but it is still reporting under their name, and we are reporting on the transfer being done, as well as once the transfer, or once the item that we transferred is voided, we're reporting on that as well. So there's no floating copy here.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to jump back into the order now. So I'm just going to jump back into here. I'm going to type in my server code, and we're back into our order, just like that. So now we only have our 2 guests right now, so I'm just going to add just a main for our guest 3 here. So I'm going to click on guest 3, but I'm also going to click on entrees right here. Entrees is going to allow me to have the word entree show up on the kitchen chit so that the kitchen knows what course we're working on here. So if I go from, I'm on guest 3 under entrees, I'm going to jump into our main, and I'm going to order something from the mains here. We'll say we'll order the steak there. Now I am noticing that I did not put any meat temperature on there. I'm assuming the steak should have a meat temperature show up.
Yeah.
Okay. So it just wasn't in the menu that I received, but I can definitely add that in there, and I'll do that when we get into the configuration side. Cool. So now we can see guest 3 here has an entree. Let's also order an entree for guests 1 and 2. So I'm going to go back here to guest 1, still under our entree course. I'm going to order something for guest 1, and now we can see they have a first and an entree. It separates it on here for us. And now I'm going to jump over to guest 2, and they'll order the pasta. Okay? Now, this is all great, but let's say for the rice bowl here, I wanted to make a little bit of a modification to it. To do that, down in the bottom in green right here, we have modifiers. If I select our modifiers, we have quite a few options to select from in terms of our modifiers. And this is just page 1 of 2. If we go over to the next page, we have a few more as well. Okay? So these are all optional modifiers. These are the ones that was provided in the menu that was sent over. So any of these are able to be, so let's say we wanted this to be gluten-free. I'm going to hit gluten-free right there, and now the kitchen knows this needs to be gluten-free. But let's say we have a special instruction that we need to tell the kitchen. An option that's not available on here, we can hit special instruction in the top left. This is going to bring up a window for us to type into. Now you can see there is an on-screen keyboard, so if you don't have a keyboard attached to the station, we can type in here. But I have a keyboard, so I'm just going to type special instruction. I didn't hit space, but special instruction. So this is something that will also get sent to the kitchen, but it's obviously not something that's on here, as I just typed that. Now we'll notice that these are modifiers because they're coming in underneath of the original item in a little bit of a grayed out color, and they're a little bit more indented, so we know that these modifiers are part of this item. If I send this through now, and I hit send, I'm just going to pull up our kitchen right here. So just to take a look at our kitchen here, so how this came through, the kitchen is going to see entrees, and they're going to see our different entrees, but in red, they're going to see our modifiers here. So they're going to see our gluten-free and our special instruction show up as modifiers, and then we can see which seat this is for again on the right-hand side. Okay? All right. So I'm just going to go back into this order here. So we have our items here. That is wonderful. Now let's say we needed to discount something. Okay? Let's say our pasta here it has a bit of a discount going on right now. On the right-hand side, I can select our discount button in purple, And when I select discount, I have a few options available here. These are just ones that we set up by default. We're able to add whatever options we want to this, and I'm going to show you that in the configuration side. But if I want to do let's say a staff 25% off of this item, I can hit staff 25% off. I know it's a percentage off because on the right-hand side here, it's telling me what this is going to do to our bill. And then I have the option to apply to selected items or apply to the entire order. Now, because I did select this item to begin with, I have this option. If I did not select an item to begin with, I would not have the apply to selected items option because nothing would be selected. So, since this is selected, I've chosen staff 25% off. I'm going to hit apply to selected items.
I have a.
We can see we have our.
I have a question pertaining to that. It's pertaining to this part here. So if you want to continue, and then when you're done, I want to jump in before you move on to the next part.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So our staff 25% off now shows up here. It's automatically taking the 25% off of the cost of the item, which has affected our total. Now, if I go to send this through as a server, I do need to get manager approval for this. So if I am the manager coming in and I want to approve this discount, I know that it's $8.75 that's getting taken off of this order. So again, as a manager, I'm going to hit approve remaining. When I hit approve remaining, I'm going to type in my manager code, hit enter, and I'm just going to recall last order right now just to bring it back quickly. But now we can see that this staff 25% off has been saved and locked in because I hit send, which also acts as the save button. And now that this has been saved, manager has approved it, our discount is applied. Jamie, you had a question?
Yeah, so I had I'm just writing them all out so I can have responses beside each one. But so what I have here is, am I able to? So let's say I have more than one manager working at a certain time, and a server is always giving discounts, right? Before the manager approves, is there some way that the manager can click a button real quick to see the history of what this server is doing? Because if we see that a server is always giving discounts and going to different managers to get it approved, then one manager themselves might not know how many discounts this person is actually giving throughout the day. Is there a way to see that?
You'll see it because when you print like your end of day, you'll
No, I'm not looking for end of day. I'm looking for at the moment. Like when you're saying approve, what am I approving with? Like we have the same system at my office right now, not a POS, but if someone's approving something, I look at what they're doing on a regular basis to see, okay, I'm going to approve it this time, but we're going to go sit in my office and have a talk about all these discounts that you're giving people all the time, right? So I'm just wondering, do you have a quick reference that I can see how many approvals, like how many discounts is somebody giving at any point in time?
Absolutely. So we do have discount reports that so like I said, we report on pretty much everything. So the discount report is the best way that I would say to take a look at a server's discount history.
Okay.
We don't have a quick button on the order screen here, so the manager wouldn't be able to walk up to the POS.
So you're
right here, just click a button.
Okay, so I don't really see this as a proper approval process. It's just a thing that says here, type in and say you're approving, which means that everyone that walks over is going to be like, sure, because they have no analytics to go by, right? So are you able to incorporate that? Or
sure.
Pardon me?
That won't really necessarily be an issue because they won't just say sure, and then you'll have every receipt taken printed out. So when you have your manager going through your cash outs, they're gonna.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, right? I'm just talking about more on the spur of the moment kind of thing. Like I understand what you mean. Like at the end of the day, I can review that, but I don't want it to get to the end of the day. If it's Canada Day, for example, right? You're gonna have. I want to catch it right away. So is there a way that a report can?
Servers don't want to discount anything because they lose money the less the check is, right? Like it's not
what if it's
a beneficial thing.
What Jamie's getting at is what if the customers are paying cash and then after the customer's gone they say, oh, they didn't like this.
That's what I'm getting at.
So that's why you pay a manager. That is literally why.
But a manager can't see it.
Your manager's job.
But if you have more, okay. So let me just ask the question without us answering. Just one, guys. I'm just asking Silverware a question. I would like just to get it answered by Silverware for a second, please. Just one, because I have multiple questions that are deriving from this question. So, Matt.
So, Jamie, the options that
can I pull a real-time report without having to do it at the end of the day?
Absolutely. So let me just show you that quickly, just so you can see, since actually, it's not going to show anything because this hasn't been closed yet. Once our order is closed, we'll be able to see it, but yes, absolutely, you can pull real-time reports at any time for any employee for a discount. Now,
that's good.
That
So
option would be available.
okay, so that's fine. Okay, and then what about, so I had one other thing. What about for comping, right? Like sometimes you have servers that would have, you're giving them, I'm allowing you to have this much worth of comp, right? Maybe it's a house manager or something like this that we hire, or somebody that's an event person that can comp. We give them a certain amount that he can comp. Do you have like an internal wallet or some sort of reporting that says this person is allowed to comp this much over this period of time, and then we can see where they're at on their comping versus their sales?
In terms of setting a limit like that for the discounts that are applied, no, we don't have a discount limit. But like we were saying, on every report for their end of shift reports, so their daily printouts, will contain a total of how much discounts they've applied, as well as we can pull reports on any time frame that we're looking for. So a weekly, daily, monthly basis, we're able to pull reports on employees. Unfortunately, we do not have a limit we can set on that. We do have the option if this is if by comps, are you referring to comps for customers? So the server would then comp for like exactly what we're doing here, this salad or this pasta for this customer. I know it says staff 25%, but let's pretend that it's a different discount, which is discounting. Is that what we're referring to in terms of comps, like comping the whole order?
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. I go into some places, right, when I walk in, they literally give me a round of shots for free the second I walk in, right?
Okay.
But I'm sure management, if they see me they see the guy doing that all the time, but then my bill doesn't go up because I only order one drink, then that should be flagged somehow. I don't think that they should be doing that for me. If you know, unless I'm bringing lots of people all the time, or there's some sort of atmosphere that I'm bringing to the table. But why? Because you know me, that I should be getting a whole bunch of free drinks, right? Like I think management should know about that, and that's happening. That happens everywhere I go.
Yep.
Absolutely. So like I said, our best option here is to take a look at the reports. This is just something that we will need to analyze and keep track of, and include in our end of day procedure is to take a look at the discount reports. Now, alternatively, we can have emails sent over for every discount that gets applied, if that's something that
that would work. That would work.
Every time that.
Yeah, I like that better.
Okay.
I like that, and I can write a program that takes those emails, because that will actually make a real-time report for us. That's like on a screen for manager to see at any time. So if it sends an email,
the reports or the alerts, and see what options we have with alerts to see what works best for you.
Okay, that's fine. So the other thing is you said here staff percent for manager. Sorry, I have all these written down. This is my last question. I don't want to have to get staff approval for like 5 or 10%. Can you have certain staff are allowed to give up to 5 or 10%, but you tell them that they're supposed to do that discretionary? That's kind of where I was going, where you would give them a certain amount that they can do, but they don't need to go to a manager for 5, 10% on a regular basis, but they're to be discretionary how they use it. Can you have kind of a hybrid setup where somebody can give a percentage off, a certain staff member can give a certain percentage off on a bill without having to go to a manager? Because if it's really busy and you want to give a percentage for any particular reason, you can deal with it front end instead of always having to involve a manager.
Yeah, so we can, when we're setting up our discounts, we're able to decide what role level is able to approve these discounts. And if, when we're setting it up, we set up like a 5% discount, we'll say, that we want to have our servers have the ability to approve, we absolutely can. And if we have our higher percentage discounts that we only want management to approve, we can absolutely do that as well.
Okay, so those are all my questions then.
Perfect. Okay, so we have sent through our discount, so this item is now discounted. So we've taken a look at discounts, void, sending our items through, using our modifiers, how to use the home button here. Next is going to be how to reorder something. So let's say I really like this steak and I want another one. This person wants another one. That's very easy to order another one. Instead of going through names, going back to our steak, this is typically used more so for drinks. So somebody has quite a complex cocktail going on, and we have multiple modifiers with this cocktail, and we don't want to type in all of those again, and they're trying to order another one. We can simply just hit reorder. When we hit reorder, it orders the exact same item with any included modifiers under that same person. So let's say we go under this rice bowl here, and I want this again with the exact same modifiers. If I hit reorder, it is going to bring up the special instructions again because I did type that in. But you'll notice that it typed out exactly what I typed previously with no space. So if I hit enter again, the exact same item gets ordered. Okay? So that just is a quick way to reorder the exact same thing if there's some complex modifiers included on it. Now, just so we can keep our reporting or our splitting a little bit simpler, I'm just going to void off the second one here that I just ordered. Okay, as well as the second steak. Okay, so I'd like to jump into our other options here. So inside of our other options, we have a few choices that we can make changes to. So right now we have 3 guests. So let's say we wanted to change that. We can change guests right here. And when we hit change guests, we have this screen that we first started with for our guest count. Now, with our guest count, we can change this to whatever we want. We can go with less guests, or we can go with more guests. We can change our number accordingly. So if I say we now have 4 guests, and I hit OK, we have a 4th guest show up down here in the bottom. If I go back into other options, and I go change guests, and I go back down to 3 guests, and I hit OK, it just removes that 4th guest. So we have full flexibility with our guest counts there. This is something that the servers can approve. This is not something that we need manager approval for. If I go back into change guests here, we also have the option to join tables. So let's say table 6 was also going to join with table 7 to make a bigger table. I can hit join table, and then it takes me to the floor plan, and it says pick a table from the floor plan.
My screen's uploading, right?
Oh, my apologies, guys.
Sorry,
I'm just going on. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, what happened, Gina?
My screen is not like loading anymore. Like it's still on the. I can't see what's happening. Oh, there we go.
Might have been your internet connection, Gina, because you were breaking up. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard your voice breaking up as well.
Poor network. Oh.
Okay, so we can.
Yeah, sorry, I just can't see what we were doing.
Can you see the screen now? Gina?
Yeah, there's a side guest. That's what I can see.
A side desk? And we're on the main screen of the guest check.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
See that, Gina?
Assign guest, that's what I'm looking for.
No, we're not there. Just log out and log back in if you need to.
Yeah.
Go to meeting and Zoom and all those places right now are extremely saturated, so your internet also might be.
Yeah. Okay, how about I cancel out of this order? So again,
it's loading in the side of my screen. Me too.
so Gina, what do you see right now?
I see table 6. Oh, you say Gina or Jamie?
Gina, sorry.
I'm just the floor and layout right now, but you guys are coming in and out too. Says my internet connection says.
Yeah, it's a little choppy, I'm noticing. I don't know if anyone else is.
Yeah, I can hear it. Everyone else is clear except for you, Gina.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, now you guys are clear.
Okay. We're feeling a little bit better now?
What is going on?
Gina, why don't you log out and just log back in, and it will probably create a new.
Better.
It'll probably create a new channel for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Just 1 second. I'll wait.